Hey, what's up everyone, and here I have the real grade Gundam Exia. Gundam 00 is one of my favorite Gundam series, so I decided, because the Exia actually got a real grade release, I'd give this an unbox as well as doing the rest of the review as well. So I'll make this pretty quick and get this out of the box. So this is your standard real grade box with the CG image of the Gundam here and a close-up of its head over here. Also pretty much the same on the side as it is with every other real grade box. You got your skeleton here, some aspects of the kid here, and what it'll look like when it's finished over here on the right. Over on the other side there's some action shots, and so far this is looking pretty good. So I'm not going to waste any time, I'm just going to open this right up. So as well as the manual in here, we have a couple of other things like this, which just shows some upcoming exclusives from the Bandai hobby store, like the Exia repair parts set, real grade Trans Am Exia, and the high grade GN Arms real color version. As well as that, there's an advertisement for Animax, and then the manual itself. So now just a quick run through of the manual. So just inside the front page is the parts list, and there's a total of 9 runners in this altogether. As well as down here what is the hologram parts, and I'm guessing that's pretty much exactly the same as what we got with the Master Grade Exia. After that then is just all the assembly instructions, including the leg unit, the body unit. One thing I'm really looking forward to seeing is the GN drive on this, how it compares to that of the Master Grade version. Next it's the arm units, followed by the head, and the weapons. And I just have to mention that the GN sword is one of my all-time favorite Gundam weapons. And then that's it for the manual. And on the back is the decal guide. So let's check out the runners. So inside the first bag is runner D1, and here we have a lot of the white parts. Parts from the waist, the head, GN drive, the arms and the legs. Every time I open up a real grade, it never fails to impress me. The details on the parts always look so clear and crisp, and they just always look so good. And the next runner we get in the first bag is runner F, which is in dark grey. There's a lot of parts here from the GN sword and the shield, as well as the hands, and some other parts of the legs as well. Also in the first bag is the decals. So Exia is pretty light on the decals compared to some real grades. I'm not a big fan of these type of foil seals here like this. The ones that have to go down on a curved surface and are kind of cut around the edges in here. I find them really hard to apply and just don't look that great when applied. But then again, this is a real grade, so we'll see how that turns out. And like I mentioned already, there isn't really all that many, so that is a bit of a relief. On to the next bag. So in the second bag we have 2 E runners. E is in a light grey, so that means a lot of these parts will be there to contrast against the white. So we have the back section for the hands here, the handles for the beam sabers, some parts for what I think is the legs up here, maybe the GN drive, and the V-fin antenna, also in a light grey. So on to the next bag. And in this bag we have a bag within a bag. First up out of this one is runner D2. So this will contain a lot of the same parts as runner D1, as it's pretty much the same as this section up here of D1, so I've already gone through that. Next is runner C2. And this is one thing about Gundam kits I both love and hate, and that's these chrome colored parts. These have been painted, so they do look excellent. The only problem is when you cut them off the runner, the nub marks aren't painted and it can look pretty nasty. And these are pretty rare in a kit, so I don't see why it's so much of a problem that they couldn't just cut them off, then paint them. But then again, it's not the worst thing ever. And here we have the holographic parts. And this is an aspect of the kit that I was really interested in seeing. The holographic parts that came with the Master Grade Exia weren't exactly that great. They could split really easily, they could break, they restricted the movement, they kind of were a nightmare. So far these are looking a little better, they feel a lot more flexible. But how exactly they'll stand up against time, and how they'll affect the kit articulation wise, is yet to be seen. And now moving on to the last bag. To be honest, I don't even know why I call them bags. It's not necessarily a bag, is it? I guess it's more of packaging, but hey, whatever. So first one out of that bag is runner C1. So this is one of those multicolor runners, so you've got your clear green up here, your grey here, and your clear pink down here. So there's some nice looking clear green parts up here. This is absolutely awesome for the straight builders like me, but this is going to be a nightmare for those who customize their kits, especially paint, because there isn't really any other color you're going to paint a clear green without it looking like shit. But then again, this is a real grade and they try to be as color accurate as possible, so this looks pretty good. A lot of grey parts down here of the torso and the head, and the pink parts are the beams for the beam sabers. Next out of that bag is B, and there's a lot of parts here for the real grade inner frame. But as more and more real grades come out, they're starting to have less and less of a full inner frame that you can just put together from this. One thing I love about the real grades is just being able to put the inner frame together first, then just add all the parts on afterwards. But it looks like here you're going to have to put a lot of the inner frame together the old-fashioned way, like with a master grade. But still, looking pretty cool on here. And on to the last runner, and that's runner A. So this is another multicolored runner, and how much more Gundam can you get than this? Just stick a white runner in behind that, and there you've got your Gundam colors. So that's pretty cool. So on here you've got your yellow, your blue, and your red. Yellow parts as usual are for the vents, as well as those chest antennae. And the blue here for the shoulders, the shield, the torso, and down here for the red is the waist, head, and feet. And also down here, you've got your 1:144 scale figure of Setsuna. So that's it for the unboxing, and I'll be back soon with part 2, where I'll be looking at the finished kit. So see you next time.